We are Buffalo. We are Florida.
Opening night is finally here. Turn on the lights. Open the roof. Let's shake it. Home sweet home for the Fish. Tonight, the Marlins hit the field, and Kevin Slowey is on the mound. And the Braves, well, they're sporting a pair of red-hot Uptons. The Marlins are home, so stand up, jump around. Here comes the big show.
Miami, opening day for the Marlins, the home opener. After a week on the road, the roof is wide open, a live shot from above. The Braves are red hot, they're 5-1. The Fish struggled on the road, 1-5, so it is indeed great to be home. Kevin Slowey gets the ball for the Fish as Miami and Mike Redmond try to win their home opener in 2013. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. It's great to be home. It's great to be back at Marlins Park. And this ball club could use a little shot of something. Maybe being home is just that.
You certainly hope so. We couldn't have mapped out a prettier day. It's absolutely gorgeous here. Everybody's gotten the interviews out of the way. The introductions have been made. But tonight is special. It's opening night for the home opener.
Yeah, and so you've got the bunting, you've got the pump, you've got the circumstance, all of that here. That's what a home opener is all about. And so, while we stand up here, let's head down there. Let's go down to the field where everything happens for the home opener here at Marlins Park. Dick Sanford is the PA voice for Marlins Park. He'll take us through the introductions.
And now fans. The clubhouse staff, Dominic Camarda. Lou Asolo. Mike Diaz. Jacob Diamond. And Jeremy Rudder. The visiting clubhouse manager, Rock Hughes. The head athletic trainer, Sean Cunningham. Assistant athletic trainer, Mike Kozak. Assistant athletic trainer, Dustin Luker. The strength and conditioning coordinator, Ty Hill. The video coordinator, Cullen McCray. And now your Marlins 2013 coaching staff. Number 4, third base coach, Joe Espada. Number 7, first base coach, Perry Hill. Number 10, hitting coach, Tino Martinez. In the bullpen, number 38, bullpen coach, Reed Cornelius. The bench coach, number 41, Rob Leary. In the bullpen, pitching coach, number 55, Chuck Hernandez. And in the bullpen coordinator, number 75, Jeff Urgeles. And now the reserve Marlins for this evening's game. Number 5, first baseman Logan Morrison. Number 6, catcher Jeff Mathis. Number 8, outfielder Chris Coughlin. Number 13, infielder Chris Valleca. Number 16, pitcher Jose Fernandez. Number 18, first baseman Casey Kochman. Number 21, catcher Miguel Olivo. Number 23, pitcher Wade LeBlanc. Number 24, pitcher Nathan Eovaldi. Number 25, first baseman Joe Mahoney. Number 26, outfielder Austin Kearns. Number 28, pitcher Alex Sanavia. Number 31, pitcher Steve Cishek. Number 35, pitcher Jose Seda. Number 37, pitcher Henderson Alvarez. Number 40, pitcher Mike Dunn. Number 44, pitcher A.J. Ramos. Number 47, pitcher Ricky Nolasco. Number 50, pitcher Chad Qualls. Number 53, catcher Kyle Skipworth. Number 56, outfielder Alfredo Silverio. Number 58, pitcher Ryan Webb. Number 60, pitcher John Roush. And number 73, pitcher John Maine. The manager of your 2013 Miami Marlins, Mike Redmond. And now tonight's starting lineup. Leading off, playing left field, number 9, Juan Pierre. Batting second, playing third base, number 30, Placido Polanco.
And we go back. This is the moment. Tonight is the
Batting
night.
third, playing right field, number 27, Giancarlo Stanton.
Like the ceiling can't hold us.
Batting fourth, playing first base, number 29, Greg Goff. Batting fifth, playing center field, number 20, Justin Ruggiano. Batting sixth and catching in the bullpen, number 19, Rob Brantley. Batting seventh, playing shortstop, number 3, Adeiny Echeverria.
We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't.
Batting eighth, playing second base, number 17, Donovan Solano.
This is the moment. Tonight is the night.
Batting ninth, and tonight's starting pitcher for your Marlins, warming in the bullpen, number 45, Kevin Slowey.
Like the ceiling can't hold us.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, at this time we ask that you please rise and remind the gentlemen to please remove your caps as tonight's colors are being presented. Tonight's colors are being presented by sailors from the Navy Operational Support Center, Miami. Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud and pleased tonight to present to you, as she honors us with the national anthem, the original singer from the Marlins' first ever game on opening night in 1993. Once again, honoring America, we're proud to present Colleen Brennan.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Fans, how about a nice round of applause for Colleen Brennan. Colleen, you sound just as good as 20 years ago.
Marlins Park, the Braves all lined up. The Marlins all lined up as the Fish get set to take on Atlanta. Home opener for the Marlins when we return. Allison Williams live with skipper Mike Redmond. For the Marlins at Marlins Park, down live on the field, Allison Williams, Mike Redmond.
Thank you very much, Rich. Mike, whenever it's a season opener or a home opener, there seems to be a special buzz. Yeah.
What are the emotions, the energy you're feeling as you get ready to manage your first game here at Marlins Ballpark?
Well, I mean, I think you said it. I mean, there's an energy and excitement. It's a new season. Obviously, we've played a few games, but I know the guys are excited. There's nothing like playing at home in front of your fans, and hopefully we'll go out there and put on a good show tonight.
I know that road trip did not go the way you wanted from a win-loss standpoint, but what are some of the things you realized about this team during that trip?
Well, we're resilient. I mean, we're scrappy. We're just waiting on that big hit offensively, but I think we got a few games to get our feet under us, so we pitched well. Our starting pitching, there's a few things we got to tighten up, but there's a lot of games left, and we'll be there for them.
Mike, thanks for the time.
All right, you got it.
Mike Redmond and the Marlins getting ready for the first pitch. You've got a little of the old and a little of the new. Jeff Conine representing 1993, Mike Lowell representing 2003, and Rob Brantley representing 2013. And so the first pitch, Tommy, looks like it'll be a relay of sorts.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a relay. We might see a Niner head out to left field. We might see Mike Lowell get to his familiar position at third base, maybe receive the throw from Jeff Conine, and then deliver to the plate to the youngster, the 23-year-old Rob Brantley.
Mike Lowell, who was in spring training with the Marlins as an instructor, and of course Jeff Conine has been with the organization seemingly since 1993, an excursion to Baltimore and Cincinnati, New York, and Philly. But Niner's ready. He's rocking the old vest with the teal. Let's see if he's got that arm still.
Yeah, Niner, don't go too deep.
And Lowell throws a strike. There you go.
All right.
And that's the first pitch for the home opener in 2013. And Conine will get the suit and tie back on and climb up the stairway to heaven. Get ready for the postgame show. First pitch around the bend. Miami and Atlanta. Toyota, let's go places by AT&T, the new wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit AT&T.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. And by Just for Men Auto Stop. It's foolproof. Gray is over. Live shot of downtown Miami from the Goodyear blimp. Home opener for the Marlins, and they get the red hot Atlanta Braves. How hot? 5-1 hot Atlanta Braves. With a couple of Uptons in the lineup. B.J. Upton in center, Jason Hayward in right, Justin Upton in left. How's that for an outfield? Hitting 1, 2, 3. Evan Gattis, one of the great early stories in baseball this year. He's behind the plate. Brian McCann still injured. Dan Uggla's at second base. Juan Francisco at third. Chris Johnson is at first. Freddie Freeman just went on the disabled list. Andrelton Simmons at short. And Paul Maholm, the lefty, is on the mound.
Yeah, the interesting twist, you don't see McCann, you don't see Freeman, but we will see Kevin Slowey work to that lineup. The 28-year-old last time out lost 3-0 in Washington, D.C., but threw the ball well. For Kevin Slowey to have success, he has to spot that fastball in and out. He's not overpowering with it and use that nice curveball that he has.
Pinchapenny brings you the first pitch. Slowey likes to work quickly, and he catches a corner for a strike. C.B. Buckner's calling balls and strikes. B.J. Upton in there, and a fastball misses in. Now these two faced each other in the American League. B.J. just clipped Rob Brantley in the mask. 1-1. Breaking ball, ground ball. Echevarria on to first in time. And Slowey gets a ground ball out. This game is underway. Here's the Marlins defense, brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic, Florida.
And there it is, Juan Pierre, Ruggiano, and Stan in the outfield. Polanco back in the lineup. Echevarria, Solano, and Dobbs. Brantley behind the plate. And it is a beautiful turf. It's brand new turf this year. It is in great condition.
Totally redone is the turf, as you see Jason Hayward stand in. And it was redone in time for the World Baseball Classic, the second round, which was here. It's the same grass as the Atlanta Braves had experimented with on their infield grass over the last couple of seasons. And the Marlins and the grounds folk here feel that it will be a much better surface with a retractable roof. High pop-up. Echevarria out. Pierre is in. And JP is there. Slowey has the first two outs of this first inning.
The other thing, Rich, we'll see Kevin Slowey do, we've seen a couple of changeups already, so that the fastball in and out, the curveball, and a changeup.
His career sidetracked by injuries, 2 years worth of injuries, shoulder and abdominal injury in 11, a season in which he was 0-8 with the Twins, and then a broken rib last year when he was in the minor leagues trying to get back up to the big leagues. But when he was healthy, he was a very effective starter for the Twins. Here is Justin Upton, who has lit the world on fire. 5 homers, most of them dramatic, 7 RBIs.
3 of those RBIs have been game winners already. The one thing, though, that Upton can fall into, Justin, is the strikeout. And he was 0 for 4 yesterday with 4 strikeouts.
Breaking ball, popped, foul, and out of play. Now Justin Upton is just 25. He's the younger of the Uptons. BJ is 28. Justin was a first overall pick. BJ was a second overall pick. BJ of the Rays, Justin of Arizona. Off the end of the bat, and that's going to get in there for a base hit. With the big dimensions, you've got outfielders that play deep. The grass is very quick, but very smooth. Perry Hill giving it the thumbs up after infield practice today. And here is Evan Gattis. And if you have not heard of Evan Gattis, that's okay. But let me introduce you to one of the more fascinating players in baseball this year. He is 26. He's out of Forney, Texas. And he had a long and winding road to get to the big leagues. Very strong. He signed with Texas A&M out of high school. Anxiety issues. Quit the game. Had alcohol problems. Went through rehab. And then spent 4 years as a ski lift operator. Worked at Yellowstone Park. Was a janitor. And then decided to try it again. Went to a Division II school in Texas, and it was like he had never quit. He absolutely raked. The Braves liked him, took a flyer on him in the 23rd round, and here he is. He had such a great winter league in Venezuela. They nicknamed him El Oso Blanco, the White Bear.
So here he is hitting cleanup for the Atlanta Braves.
Tom Verducci on SportsIllustrated.com had a real nice column, and as Verducci spelled out, it's a script that someone would be a fool to submit. It's so amazing. And of course, in his first big league game, while his father was being interviewed on television, he homered. Upton is back.
Got to be alive with both Uptons if they reach base, because they both can steal bases.
They both come with the stolen base attachment.
Or app, if you will.
Gaddis, really old school. I mean, you gotta love a guy. He's got the beard, no batting gloves.
Gaddis has the power app.
He put on a show in batting
practice.
Yes,
he did.
He smacked a bunch of them up near the Budweiser Bowtie Bar and up onto that concourse. He even hit one nearly out just to the left of the home run sculpture.
He might be able to match Dan Uggla's forearms.
Counts 0-2. Slowey misses away. And it's 1-2. Kevin Slowey out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Winthrop University. Well, you can just see the power that's coiled up in Gaddis's body. Hit a crouch stance, ready to pounce.
Yeah, and as you watch his swing, for a big guy, it's not a long swing, it's compact. Short and quick.
Here's a 1-2. Got an outside corner. Slowey catches the black. Gaddis goes down. Upton is left at first base. And we're underway in Miami. Marlins and Braves. Home opener here in Miami. Marlins have scored just 14 runs in their 6 games. And they'll try to get some offense tonight with Juan Pierre in the leadoff spot. Placido Polanco at third. Giancarlo Stanton, an early struggle. Not for Greg Dobbs. He's hitting everyone. Lefties, righties. Justin Ruggiano had a nice road trip. Rob Brantley as well. Adeiny Echeverria is hot. Donovan Solano is as well, and Kevin Slowey in the 9 spot.
Well, that's certainly a ball club that gave the Marlins trouble last year. The Marlins just 4-14 against the Braves. They did see this left-hander. They've seen him over the years with Pittsburgh, with the Cubs. Got traded to the Braves last July.
Juan Pierre. JP leads it off with Polanco and Stanton to follow. Mahalam's been really good since joining the Braves, especially against the East.
Paul Mahalam is a Wade LeBlanc type. He might use his curveball as LeBlanc uses the changeup, but he also has a changeup, but not overpowering.
There's a breaking ball for a
slider, little slider there. Take a look at the scouting report on the 30-year-old left-hander. 5-5 in his career against the Marlins. We'll get to that.
Mahalam spears it and fires to first. So 1 out here at the bottom of the first.
Hey, here we go. We knew we'd get there. Good command generally for Mahalam. Journeyman lefty. He's been around, averaged 30 starts over the last 7 years. Change-up with a little sink to it. And in his career, he's only been on the disabled list 1 time. That's good news for any manager and pitching coach.
Now Polanco had a day off yesterday. Polanco 6 for 21 early on with a couple of RBIs. Mahalam part of a revamped Braves rotation. I think if there's any question about the Braves, it's starting rotation for Freddie Gonzalez. They look like they can roll out a dynamite lineup every night, filled with Uptons and Haywards and Freemans, and when he gets back, McCanns. Here's the 1-1. Pitches down low.
The Marlins are going to miss Tim Hudson. He leads that rotation. He pitched yesterday. Chris Medlin, they'll see tomorrow. Freddie has the lefty we're seeing tonight, Mahalam, Mike Minor, and Julio Teheran.
2-1 pitch. Not to center. DJ Upton is there. And he makes the catch. It's a real good outfield defensively, left to right.
And there is that defense brought to you by Cleveland Clinic. The Uptons and Hayward, tremendous speed, good arms, and they can all hit too. Francisco at third, Juan Francisco. Andrelton Simmons is the shortstop. You're familiar with the second baseman, Dan Ugla. Chris Johnson gets the start at first. He'll be there with the absence of Freddie Freeman and get us behind the plate. They'll have a decision to make when McCann gets back.
Giancarlo Stanton now facing Mahalam. With the count 1-0. Be interesting to see how the Braves attack Stanton. I think Stanton is getting pitched to a lot more than he thought he would be, and at times it has caught him off guard.
Yeah, it's really a mental game with Giancarlo right now. He's in that mode where he's been taking good pitches to hit and then chasing poor pitches.
Mahalam misses, and he goes 3-0. Stanton has yet to homer. He has yet to drive in a run. And let's see if he gets a 3-0 cookie. Nope. Missed down low. Mahalam didn't give him anything. And so Stanton takes the walk. And here comes Dobbs. Now Dobbs, there's a look at Mike Redmond. Dobbs, a decision for Redmond to make 3 days ago when Casey Kochman went down with a pulled hamstring, because the Marlins were going to face so many left-handed pitchers, and Redmond kept Dobbs out there, and it's paid off because Dobbs had some big hits in New York against lefties. 2 hits on Saturday against lefties, 2 hits yesterday against Aaron Laffey, a lefty.
Rich, so many managers will say the same thing about decisions like that. They'll say, you know what, the player will make the decision for me. Dobbs has made that decision by getting base hits.
Sweeping breaking ball, and Dobbs goes after it, and the count's 1-1.
Off the plate, good pitch from Mahalam.
Mahalam, always one of those guys, when he was with the Pirates, you wonder what his record would be like on a better team. That was before the Pirates started to turn things with Clint Hurdle.
Hey, you're right. He had a year where he was 6-14, but his ERA was 3.66.
Yeah, his career ERA is 4.24, and his career record is 67-84. But he's in a good spot now, pitching for the Braves. Dobbs check swing, no swing, and so Mahalam has the count at 3-1 with Ruggiano on deck. And the bat, Dobbs kept it cocked. He never really went after the ball, and that's, as an umpire, you can see where they're working Dobbs. It's not whether he breaks the wrist or the bat breaks the plane of the plate. It's whether in the umpire's judgment he attempts to strike at the ball. And Dobbs walks. Stanton walks. Dobbs walks. Mahalam usually a pretty good control guy, but here's Ruggiano with runners first and second.
Yeah, a little out of character for Paul Mahalam, as you said, generally in the strike zone. Nice crowd out there by the Budweiser balcony.
I can hear the Clevelander and see the Clevelander. Things are going well there. Ruggiano goes after the first pitch to right. Hayward is there, and he makes the catch. Miami will leave a couple runners. An inning in the books. Scoreless in Miami. Tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Roof is wide open on a gorgeous evening in Miami. Opening night for the Fish, their home opener. And back to work for Kevin Slowey. A slimmed down Dan Uggla takes a strike. Uggs has dropped about 15 pounds.
Yeah, saw Dan during spring training and almost didn't recognize the sleek look, but he still has those forearms and biceps. I'd like to see an arm wrestling match between Uggla and Geddes.
Uggla 33 now. Last year dipped in the power numbers. 19 home runs. Pulls a grounder to third. Polanco Across the diamond to Dobbs in time. And Kevin Slowey looks just like he did last Wednesday in Washington.
I think as you watch, you see him work in and out with the fastball, occasionally a slider. The curveball's always there. Very cerebral type pitcher.
Juan Francisco. And Juan Francisco obviously filling some pretty big shoes, as this is what, the first season since 1995 that there's no Chipper Jones.
Pretty incredible when you think about it.
That was Chipper's first year in 95. He was actually hurt in 94. And Jones, of course, retiring after 19 years as a Brave. Francisco, in his second year, has handled third base pretty well.
During spring training at the beginning of the year, there was some thought that they would platoon Francisco and Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson, a right-handed hitter. But with the injury to Freeman, Johnson finds himself over at first base for now.
Right back up the box and into center field. Juan Francisco's 5th hit of the year. And he's around first and will hold there.
There's no question this guy has good bat. Pitch out over the plate, just in a nice location for Juan Francisco. Guy who has had some time. We've seen him with Cincinnati, and he's going to get a good opportunity with the Braves.
Naples native, Stetson University product, Chris Johnson. Slowly misses away. We saw a lot of Chris Johnson with the Astros. Spent some time briefly at the end of last year with Arizona.
I don't want to say he was a throw-in, but he was included in that deal with the Diamondbacks. The Braves acquiring Upton, Justin Upton.
Were you ever a throw-in?
I was the PTBNL.
The player to be named later. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball fouled off. And it's 1-2. Slowey has a strikeout. He's given up a couple hits. A Justin Upton single in the first. And Francisco's liner here in the second. Miami's starting pitching has been outstanding. In fact, the Marlins starters ERA is just below 2.5, 2.48. The bullpen ERA, however, is over 8, 8.10.
Yeah, there's a good news, bad news story there.
Well, the good news is, second time through, the starters for Chuck Hernandez will be able to go a little bit further, add to the pitch count. As everyone around baseball, very cautious first couple of starts coming out of the spring. End of the bat, Dobbs, and into the seats.
And there were a few aces who struggled with not only pitch counts, but getting guys out in ball games yesterday. It was amazing.
Holy cow, what happened yesterday?
It's amazing.
Didn't matter if you were R.A. Dickey or Cole Hamels. Matt Cain, Steven Strasburg.
R.A. Dickey gave up 5 first-inning runs yesterday against the Red Sox. He gave up 5 first-inning runs all of 2012.
David Price gave up 8 runs to Cleveland. Cain 9 runs.
Oh, yeah, Matt Cain, you would think he would never have an outing like that.
Hamels 8 runs. And Strasburg 6. And after having watched Strasburg, 6 runs seems like an awful lot. Johnson sends it right center field. Good jump, Ruggiano. He's on the spot and he's there, and he makes the catch. So 2 outs in the second. The Marlins open a 3-game series with the Phillies on a Fireworks Friday. That's the 12th at 7:10. Pick up the Sir Pizza 4-pack. Celebrate Dominican Heritage Night at the ballpark, and then stay after for a fireworks spectacular and a concert on the West Plaza with Oro Solido. Tommy has them on his mixtape.
I have them in Pandora.
Go to Marlins.com for tickets.
Always like to see the differences in how the ball will react. If it carries more to left center, right center, with the rolling windows open and with the roof open tonight.
There is not a whole lot of wind coming off the ocean and through left field or in through the roof. You can see the flags are rather still out there. And I'm telling you, the ball was jumping in batting practice. Andrelton Simmons, Braves young shortstop out of Curaçao, and one of the heroes of the Netherlands team in the World Baseball Classic. He drives that to left. Pierre is over in there, and JP makes the catch. Kevin Slowey, 2 nice innings in a scoreless ball game. Greg, just a spectacular shot from the Goodyear blimp in a scoreless game in the bottom of the second. Let's check in with Allison Williams. We missed you, Allison. How are you?
I missed you guys as well on that road trip. Glad to be here, though, for the home opener. And one change you will notice here at Marlins Ballpark from year 1 to year 2, you guys mentioned it a bit earlier, is the field has been completely resodded. It looks absolutely beautiful. There's actually 2 types of grass this year. The infield and the foul area is paspalum. That outfield is all Bermuda 419. It comes from Alabama. They say it's the best sod available, and right now it looks beautiful. It should stay that way because they made a few purchases this offseason. They brought in some solar lamps. They have 2 smaller ones that they can bring in relatively easy, and then 2 very, very large ones that actually cover 7,000 square feet, and that will provide an artificial sunlight for the grass because, frankly, there's just certain areas that, depending on the time of year, do not get any sun. The right field area was an issue, will be for now until a few more months, and then the shade line goes over to left field. It looks good, though, should stay that way. And I also noticed, guys, there's a giant box down here where I hang out in the photo well that says do not unplug under any circumstance, and it says Stadium Grow lighting on it. So I'm guessing that's where they plug those giant lights into down here, but it should keep this green grass absolutely beautiful throughout the season.
Maybe Tommy and I can have one of those installed here in the booth.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. You know, we could work on our tan.
Well, and we can measure ourselves to the start of the season and see if it works by the end of the year. Rob Brantley, Adani Echeverria, and Donovan Solano against Paul Maholm, and C.B. Buckner doing his best Leslie Nielsen impression. Pumps out Rob Brantley. Maholm walked a pair in the first, and he has his first strikeout of the night.
Well, he drops that curveball and catches the outside corner. That's just a perfect pitch, a tough pitch for a left-handed hitter. And you see the move of C.B. Buckner.
Now Echeverria. Echeverria coming off yesterday's 2-hit game. He was 2 for 3. Had 4 hits total in New York. Rolls one out towards Uggla. 2 quick outs for Mahalam. Twitter poll tonight. What are we polling? How about Chipper? Are you sad that Marlin killer Chipper Jones has retired? I would go with yes, I am sad. That would be pound Chipper, yes.
You know, always fun to maybe not watch the damage that he did against the Marlins over the years, but it's always enjoyable to talk to Chipper around the batting cage.
It was always fun to watch him play the game. He was
very relaxed and smooth.
Such a smart player and had such great baseball instincts, and was also a pretty good hitter. I mean, 2,726 hits, 468 home runs in his 19 years. Solano calls time. Donovan Solano was up in the 2 spot yesterday and had 3 hits early. Boy, the Marlins were sailing yesterday. Solano rolls it to third. Francisco pounces, whips it across in time. 9-pitch inning for Mahalam in a scoreless game in Miami. Scoreless game. Top of the third. It's a 3-game series opening tonight against Freddie Gonzalez and the Atlanta Braves. Toyota Trend. Braves lead the all-time series and really smoked the Marlins last year. Went 14-4 against Miami.
Always nice for Freddie to come back, a graduate of Miami Southridge High School.
And of course, 3.5 years as the skipper of the Marlins. In his 3rd year, last year guiding the Braves to the postseason. A wild card game in which the Braves melted down. They had 3 errors.
They had an infield fly issue, too.
Well, that wasn't their fault.
Yeah.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. But they had gone, what, 22 or 23 games without losing in a Chris Medlin start. And they had Medlin on the mound. And they lost that game. Medlin got the loss. St. Louis, of course, would win that game and then go on to beat the Nationals in the next round and lose to the Giants in the National League Championship Series. Slowey 2-2 on Medlin. Pitch 5, though, caught the plate and was clearly at the knees. Juan Pierre is there, and he makes the catch. So an out, and up comes B.J. Upton. That one of the big deals, certainly in the East, is the revamping of the Braves outfield. B.J. in center from the Rays, and a nice extension to get him here. 5 years, $72 million. Rolled out towards short. Echeverria flips over to first.
You know what I like about Echeverria? Like a lot of things. You watch him on a routine ground ball, he does the same thing. He doesn't take his time on a ground ball that he gets a little quicker. He gets to it, gobbles it up, funnels and fires. It doesn't matter who's running. He does the same thing every time.
He's been everything that was advertised defensively, and he's been even more than advertised offensively. He's really swinging the bat well right now. He had 6 hits in his last 4 games coming into this one.
He's put in some work with Tino Martinez.
Jason Hayward to left field. 9-pitch inning. Kevin Slowey is rolling. And this game is still scoreless. Kevin Slowey, Paul Maholm have been dynamite so far. Scoreless game, bottom of the third. Marlins get their third crack at Maholm, and it's Slowey who leads it off with Juan Pierre and Placido Polanco. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Allison Williams is with us tonight. Greg Minervini and Jeff Conide out in their brand spanking new set in center field for Marlins Live, and they'll be back out there for the postgame show. Slowey takes a strike. There's a look at it.
Boy, it's high tech out there. First class for Niner and Craig.
Ball and 2 strikes.
I'm sure Preston and Cliff will get a few opportunities out there as well.
And Slowey swings and misses. Maholm's got his second strikeout. He's walked a couple. Miami still doesn't have a hit. And here's the top of the order. Marlins and Braves tomorrow night. You can pick up the Tuesday edition of the Miami Herald. Take advantage of the half-price Tuesday offer in the Herald. Get half-price tickets in Legend Silver, Baseline Reserve, Bullpen Reserve, or the Home Run Porch. Visit Marlins Park ticket office or go to marlins.com. And tomorrow night is our first email and Twitter Tuesday. back by popular demand for the, 7th year.
It just won't go away.
It won't. Any handheld device is welcome.
Now that you and I have both joined Twitter universe.
Pierre takes a breaking ball. Mahalam gets a strike, and he's out in front at 0-2. Pierre lives here and has for some time. 40-minute drive to the ballpark today, he said. Of course, JP doesn't come in at 2:30 or 3. He was here about 12:15. Roller out to second. Ugla gobbles it up, flips to first. And Mahalam has 2 quick outs.
Well, you're right. It's really home for a lot of guys, and a couple in particular. Placido Polanco, who's stepping in to hit. He's about 15 minutes away from Marlins Park. So great chance for him to play in front of friends and family. He's made his home in Miami for the last 20 years.
Polanco takes inside. He flied the left back in the first. Mahalam works quickly, just like Slowey. 1-1.
I think this is a pretty good move, a deal that Frank Wren made when he acquired Paul Mahalam, because you mentioned he also got Reed Johnson, scrappy, a little extra outfielder, still on the roster, and they gave away a couple of minor leaguers.
And both were nice additions down the stretch. Mahalam won 4 games, had an ERA of 3.5 for the Braves. Out of Germantown, Tennessee. That's Matt Cain's hometown. And he was a college star. Mahalam was at Mississippi State. Polanco dumps that one into center field. Going to be a base hit. And importantly, it'll bring Giancarlo Stanton to the plate with a runner at first. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. In his first at bat, Giancarlo Stanton didn't see anything to hit. Mahalam walked him on 4 pitches. Let's see what the approach is here.
Yeah, unlike his at bats in New York, I thought he saw a lot of pretty good pitches to hit. Mahalam dropped in a nice curveball for strike 1.
He threw a couple down there in that first at bat. We're talking to Tino Martinez about Stanton. There's nothing mechanically wrong. It's all about staying inside the zone, waiting for his pitch, and being ready when that pitch comes. Ooh, a strike. A late break. And that just got a piece of the strike zone.
Just barely.
Highly unlikely that Polanco's going anywhere, but Mahalam figures if I could pick him off, I don't have to throw another pitch to Stanton. Gaddis calls timeout. He goes out to talk to him.
Something that you and I talked to Mike Redmond about, the club in hit and runs and stealing. Marlins just 2 stolen bases the first week. Red doesn't really have, other than Juan Pierre, a lot of burners out there that can steal bases. Justin Ruggiano will occasionally. So he has to be careful. He doesn't have a whole lot of hit and run guys. Donovan Solano at times said he doesn't really like to use Polanco in a hit and run because he can get base hits and drive in runs at times.
2-2 coming in the dirt. That's a good take by Stanton, because remember the breaking ball that was a called strike. Mahalam spun that up there and missed low. And now Polanco will be on his way with a full count and 2 outs.
He's been spinning a whole bunch of stuff up there. Let's see what he throws 3-2.
Breaking ball, no swing. Stands on his way to first, and here comes Dobbs. Runners first and second.
I think it's clear the first couple of at-bats that Paul Maholm doesn't want to come close to Giancarlo, especially with the lefty Greg Dobbs hitting behind him. So I think he's shown in the first 2 at-bats by what he's thrown that he doesn't want to come close to him at all.
Well, Dobbs walked back in the first. Miami had a pair of runners on in the first with 2 outs. Rusciano flied to right to end the inning. And remember, Dobbs had some big 2-out hits in New York.
The Marlins, Rich, and this is an area where they've really struggled on the year, hitting 176 with runners in scoring position. Just 2 for 14 yesterday in that game in New York where they stranded 12.
Dobbs has been Miami's best hitter in the first week. He finds himself behind in the count 0-2.
A lot of breaking pitches to Dobbs. That's this at bat, the first 2 pitches. Last at bat, so he stayed away with everything to Greg Dobbs. We've seen Dobbs hit a couple of base hits in New York the other way on pitches that were actually 2 or 3 inches off the plate.
David Wright was way off the line on both occasions. Juan Francisco of the Braves is probably about 15-20 feet off the line right now. That's surprising. Can you throw that up again?
Yeah, no home runs. Yeah,
against lefties.
That's the thing that jumped out to me. And part of that is because when Dobbs faces a left-hander, he becomes a little different hitter. He's just going to battle, take what he gets. Occasionally he'll try to let it fly on a count in his favor, but he'll hit a lot of balls the other way against lefties.
Polanco at second, Stanton at first. Dobbs stays alive, and it's 1-2. As well, I think that reflects that in his career as a pinch hitter and at times a platoon player, he hasn't faced a lot of lefties.
Not a lot of left-handed at bats either against lefties.
Maholm working hard. 50th pitch of the game coming. Dobbs a better swing there. He got a fastball and he fouls it back. Braves have a pair of lefties that will go in this series. Maholm getting the start in this ball game. Mike Minor will start the 3rd game of the series against Alex Sanabria. So Chris Medlin, Wade LeBlanc matchup tomorrow night. Dobbs goes down. Maholm with another breaking ball and his 3rd strikeout. Marlins get their first hit, but they leave 2 more. Still scoreless. fourth inning. Let's join Craig Minervini. Craig?
All right, Rich, thank you very much. What a terrific rendition of the national anthem before this game, and it also linked some Marlins history. Colleen Brennan, the former Miss Boca Raton. Wow, what a moment for you to come back here and sing. We're going to talk about your connection, but first, what about the song tonight in front of this nice opening day crowd?
I'll tell you, it was quite an experience. I was really excited. The crowd is great. You know, a little bit nervous in the beginning, but it was terrific.
Now, the connection was that Colleen was the anthem singer. As you see that shot by Justin Upton down the line, it's going to be extra bases, and he continues to assault pitching here. He's going to hold with a double. She sang the anthem back on April the 5th of 1993, the original day in Marlins history.
That was an incredible experience. All I wanted to do was get as many autographs as I could possibly get. But, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, this was, you know, being able to make that transition 20 years later. I mean, can you even fathom? I mean, it's like I'm here, I'm standing here, and I'm like, am I really here 20 years later? And I'm thinking to myself, boy, I'm like older.
and here's the hook to the story tonight is that great news. Colleen is expecting in November.
Yeah, I'm very excited, and I'm standing out on the field ready to sing the anthem, and I really had to go. So you can imagine that I just wanted to sing the anthem and get off the field after, obviously, I was respected and all the audience was, you know.
Well, you didn't rush through it, considering everything. It's nice to have the link to history for the Marlins all year long, and you're one of them. And Larry Blocker found you. You sing at many of the other teams and the orchestras in the weekend, so great to see you.
Thank you so much, Craig. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Boy or girl? Do we know?
We don't know. We'll know in June.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Right. Colleen Brennan, she did a great job getting the crowd going here tonight, guys.
That's right. Craig gets all the good assignments. Miss Boca. How about that? Evan Gaddis at the plate. Gaddis called out on strikes back in the first. Kevin Slowey to the plate. And Slowey, who has kept the Braves off balance, he struck out just one. But not that man. Justin Upton has a pair of hits, a single and a double. The White Bear is poised and ready to go at it. And he really rocketed. Not only did he have a great college career, a brief college career, once the Braves took him in the 23rd round, Gaddis just tore it up in the minor leagues as well, and certainly earned his way onto the big league roster with a dynamite spring. High fly ball. Tagging is Upton. Stanton makes the catch. Upton's on his way to third. And so Gaddis moves the runner. The Braves now will see if Ugla or Francisco can score him.
Justin Upton, by the way, with that double, 7 extra base hits, 5 home runs, 2 doubles, and the 7 extra base hits leading the league. So he's off to a tremendous start. A lot of people were wondering, too, how that trade would work out. The two brothers playing together, how everything would go.
Ugla now. Infield's back. Fastball is strike. Folks around spring training and around the Braves feel that the 15 pounds that Ugla has dropped has quickened his bat. His swing looks a lot better than last year. One of the things Dan did last year, more so than any other in what has been a very nice career, he walked more last year. Ugla walked 94 times, third in the National League.
Someone would have told us that when we first saw Dan Ugla in 2006, his rookie year. He said, come on, you're kidding. He's a free swinger. He's not going to walk that many times.
Oh, he was known for that. He was an all-star his rookie year in 2006. He was all-star last year for the Braves. So a 3-time all-star is Ugla now. 1-2 pitch. Ground ball to short, runner coming home, and Echeverria has to go to first, and the Braves manufacture a run. The double by Upton, Gaddis fly ball, Ugla scores it.
Now the Braves getting it accomplished with little ball.
The fly ball getting Upton over to third. Uggla making contact with the infield back, which you're going to do at this point of the game. The Marlins get the out, but the Braves get the first run.
So Atlanta is on the board. The Braves opened against the Phillies, won the first 2 games, and then got cliff lead in the 3rd game, and they just swept the Cubs, including that dramatic Upton 9th inning against Carlos Marmol. So they're hot, 5-1. Francisco pulls it. Solano knocks it down, fires to first. Atlanta's on the board first. Justin Upton has a couple hits. 1-0 Atlanta. Visit your Honda dealer for great lease and finance deals on fuel-efficient Hondas. And by Checkers, feast on. Live shot, Goodyear blimp, high above Marlins Park. Cleveland Clinic 4th, and the Braves have a 1-0 lead. Braves fans, I think you're going to see a lot of Braves fans around baseball this year. The Braves and the Nationals appear to be 2 of the best teams, not only in the National League, but in all of baseball. Ruggiano, Brantley, and Echeverria.
And that's where the Braves go after this series here.
Bunt by Ruggiano. Francisco's throw just got him. Juan Francisco nips Justin Ruggiano, and there's 1 out.
What's a good play by the Braves third baseman. We saw Chipper Jones do this for the last 19 years. But charges, makes the good, clean pick, and then a strong throw to get Ruggiano, who was just trying to get on with nobody out. I don't know if I like that a lot from Ruggiano because he does have the chance, being a right-handed hitter against Mahalam, he does have the chance to hit 1 out. So I'd rather see him swing a little bit, but with nobody out, I kind of see what he was doing.
If he gets it a little further down the third baseline, that's probably a hit. That bunt drew Francisco towards the bag at first, and obviously you saw how close it was. Now Brantley called out on strikes in the second. Brantley had good swings against lefties in New York, and did a nice job yesterday handling Jose Fernandez.
Hey, that's a good point. I think so much was focused, and rightfully so, on the 20-year-old. We forgot that his battery mate was a 23-year-old. Well, you and I didn't forget. We talked about it.
It's our job. It's what we do.
check swing. And no swing.
Paul Mahalam will always go down and have something to talk to his grandkids about. The time that in a spring training game he pitched to Billy Crystal.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss, and that's kind of the same result that Billy Crystal had.
Yeah, he said it was a tough moment because he wanted to, be fair to Billy Crystal, the comedian. He didn't want to lighten up a little bit, but then he felt if he didn't give him a whole lot and he got a hit off of him, everybody would be talking about it. So
Billy Crystal was signed to a one-day contract by the Yankees and allowed to DH and lead off a spring game. What other celebrities? Garth Brooks for the Padres.
For the Padres.
Echeverria takes in. Adaney bounced out back in the second. 6 for 21 so far. That left shoulder not nearly as cocked as it was when he arrived in spring training. That was one of the subtle changes that Tino Martinez has implemented, but he really likes the way Echeverria is swinging the bat right now. That is going to roll foul. He's starting to get around and really get after the pitch on the inside part. And Tino was talking about his plate discipline and his approach at the plate last 4 ball games.
Well, and again, you're talking about a young player, just a handful of games last year with the Toronto Blue Jays. Echeverria is still just 23. He'll be 24 in a few days, April 15th.
Well, now that he's arrived in the United States from Cuba, April 15th, a significant day for more reasons than one.
You have to remember that. He may be filing for the extension already.
Three-two pitch. Francisco fires to first in time. Paul Mahalam just keeps rolling along. Braves lead at 1-0. Back for more after this sports injury prevention message from the Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Marlins Park in Miami. Home opener. And the Braves are up 1-0. Chris Johnson goes after the first pitch. and fouls it out of play. One of the most impressive things about the Braves' start at 5-1 is they don't have Brian McCann. They haven't had a healthy Freddie Freeman. Freeman placed on the 15-day disabled list the other day. McCann with a shoulder injury, had shoulder surgery in the offseason.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Freddie Freeman, from what I've read and you and I talking to some of the folks who follow the Braves, he himself didn't want to go on the disabled list.
Liner to left. Pierre has to play it on a hop, and Naples' Chris Johnson has a base hit.
He'd been playing with a little bit of a tweak in that oblique area and getting by, and then all of a sudden he was put on the disabled list.
Now here is Simmons. Simmons arrived in the big leagues last year and played 49 games. It was just his third year of professional baseball. High pop-up. Let's see if it stays fair. Brantley back, and it's out of play.
It's one thing that we found out last year at Marlins Park. There isn't a whole lot of foul territory, so hitters kind of like that. You pop one up that way. In some ballparks, that's catchable.
Simmons lined to left in the second inning. Simmons hit a very dramatic home run in the World Baseball Classic to tie the ball game in an elimination game against Cuba in the 8th inning. Cuba, the #1 ranked team internationally, and of course the Netherlands, everyone's darling, but a much better team than '09 when they knocked off the Dominican. In that ball game, though, they were without 3 starters, and Simmons tied the game. The Netherlands would win it in the 9th. Stanton is there, and he makes the catch. So an out here in the 5th. Time for the Jesserman Auto Stop foolproof stat. 20th home opener. All-time record 8-11. The Mets and the Phillies are the opponents they've played the most. Flip to first in time.
Good communication. I think you could hear, and I believe it was Kevin Slowey yelling, "I've got it, I got it." A lot of pitchers don't want to take charge of a bunt like that, but Slowey, a good fielder. And as that bunt was dropped down, nicely done by Mahalam, you could hear Slowey yelling, "I got it, I got it."
Here is B.J. Upton. And B.J. to right. 7-pitch inning. So Slowey continues to look good. The Braves continue to lead it 1-0. In Miami, home opener for the Marlins as they celebrate, the Marlins do, 20th anniversary, and a flashback for opening day. How about Emilio Bonifacio's inside the park home run against the Nationals? An electric moment. And look at the character behind him in the dugout, yes. Miami has just a hit against Paul Maholm, Donovan Solano, Kevin Slowey, and then Juan Pierre. 8-9-1. Maholm's in a groove. Only one other pitcher since 2012 has been better against the National League East, and that's Chris Medlin. Medlin 1.92 ERA. Maholm 2.04. That's why he was so good down the stretch.
Another reason it was a good move by the Braves. They knew that. They said, let's just get this guy from the National League Central, have him pitch a little bit more against the East.
Solano knocks it out towards Ugla, who flips on over to first to get an out. It's a Braves team that's not a huge payroll team. Their payroll to open the season is just above $90 million. We talked about the restructuring of the rotation. Gone is Tommy Hanson. Brandon Beachy is having Tommy John surgery. Hanson now with the Angels. Jair Jurgens was non-tendered. Randall Delgado sent to Arizona.
He was in that deal. The two key players in that deal going to Arizona for Justin Upton, Martin Prado, and Randall Delgado.
Slowly to right. Hayward is there. All right. Let me wait a beat before I ask you this. You can go to any Wednesday Marlins game, save up to 60% with the Chevron Crazy Eights ticket offer. Fill up at a participating Chevron to get $8 home run porch or $18 home plate box office tickets. Visit your local Chevron or Marlins.com/Chevron for details. Restrictions apply. Better outfield, Nationals or Braves?
Braves.
More power in this Braves outfield, which is something that Atlanta hasn't been able to say in a long time.
Yeah, you know, we mentioned Martin Prado, and this is a good thought because we all know the many big hits Prado got against the Marlins over the years and against a lot of other clubs, too, an all-star. But I think any scout would tell you they would take a Justin Upton for a Martin Prado. But I think there'll be a time the Braves may miss the versatility that Prado gave them.
Pierre hit by a pitch, just clipped him on the elbow. And he's aboard. Base runners have been scarce for a while. Maholm walked 3 early.
This is how everything started for the Mets yesterday in that 9th inning. Our first XMO of the year. But remember in that 9th inning when Steve Cishek came in the ball game and just clipped Tejada on the jersey just like that for their first base runner.
Maholm with a quick slide step for a strike. That can fool a runner and a hitter at the same time.
So to get back to that initial question, I think you'd take B.J. Upton over Denard Span. I think a good number of people would take Hayward over Jason Worth.
I would, but I would take Bryce Harper over Justin Upton.
But you said the entire outfield.
So
the entire outfield, I say Braves.
All right. Maholm going to first, and Pierre back with a dive.
And keep in mind, a couple of years ago, Justin Upton hit 31 home runs.
Well, B.J. Upton last year had a big year. He had 23 homers in the second half, finished with 28. Hayward hit 27. Pierre is running, Polanco is hitting, and he fouls it back.
From what Mike Redmond told us, most of the players can go when they like. There are times that they'll get the stop sign, but most of them go ahead. If you think you have that opportunity to steal a bag, get in scoring position, especially in a one-run game, go ahead and give it a shot.
He's running on a quick pitch, check swing. Did he swing? Yes. Polanco's out on a strikeout. It looked like a swing from here, but the play played out. CB Buckner did not appeal until after the throw to second. So no stolen base. Polanco strikes out, and the Fish are done here in the fifth. 1-0 Atlanta. Let's check in with Allison Williams.
Hey, Rich, the way Kevin Slowey's pitching right now, manager Mike Redmond hoping he can wait a little bit longer until he has to pick up that phone and call out to the Marlins bullpen. But when he does, he'll be able to have a nice clear shot into the pen. That's because the Marlins have actually moved their bullpen for this year. It's not because of the Clevelander, which some of you may think. Of course, previously it was next to the Clevelander out there in left field, but Redmond preferred it to be over in right field so he could see directly out, keep an eye on his relief pitchers from the dugout. So the Marlins made the switch, and while it wasn't because of the party, the music in the Clevelander, I will tell you the bullpen guys did not lament the move.
Ruggiano makes the catch. I would dispute some of that report from Allison Williams, but
all right, there were a few guys who weren't too happy about it. AJ Ramos, one of them, but I will say the ones with significant others did not complain about the move, and they said the music can just be a little much throughout the entire course of a game.
Well, the Braves bullpen doesn't look distracted right now.
Here's the example. You know when you pull up to a stoplight and the guy next to you has his windows down and he's got the heavy beat going, the loud noise. That's what it can be like down in the Clevelander.
And he's got pretty girls in the back seat. Oh, man, that one is crunched. Justin Upton way out of here. Off one of the supports. Right on the plaza area. And Justin Upton has hit his 6th home run already this season. And this is game number 7. This is ridiculous.
This has been tonight the Justin Upton story. He's singled, he's doubled, and now he's hit a mammoth home run. Fastball middle of the plate, and he takes care of it in a hurry. Wow. Over that sign that said 401 on the backside of those left field bleacher seats.
Gaddis goes after a high fastball, and the count's 0-1. So the Braves have a couple of runs. Upton has scored them both. He scored after doubling in the fourth. 6 home runs. The amazing thing is he has just 8 RBIs. The Braves haven't had a lot of guys on in front of him.
Well, they have some guys that have been struggling. Jason Hayward's 0 for his last 16. B.J. Upton has struggled. Started the year 0 for 16. So if not for Justin Upton, the Braves wouldn't be 5-1 coming into this game.
And we noted earlier they're 5-1 without McCann, without Freeman in the lineup, and without some guys clicking offensively.
Right about in this area was where that ball went over the 401.
If you go straight up from there, you run into the scoreboard that Giancarlo Stanton broke last year in his home run against Jamie Moyer.
Yeah.
Hit the support.
Hit that pillar.
Evan Gaddis at the plate.
Either pillar you're talking about, it's a long way out there.
2-0 Atlanta. Gaddis has struck out, flied out.
You know, he hasn't had a lot of at-bats here. Justin Upton, of course, with Arizona last year. But here at Marlins Park, he's 7 for 19 with 2 home runs.
Gaddis goes after a high fastball. Slowly at 90 miles an hour. Make sure you tune in early for the Marlins Live pregame show driven by your South Florida Honda dealers. Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine tomorrow night from Marlins Park at 6:30.
I know, Rich, you disputed some of the things that Allison was talking about, but there are a lot of managers who would prefer the setup the way it is here with the ability to look straight at their bullpen.
I would think the majority of relievers would rather be out of eyesight from their manager, regardless if there's a hoppin' nightclub next to them
now,
or not.
Reed Cornelius, Marlins bullpen coach, he keeps them all under wraps. He makes sure everybody's in line. Keeps track of times warmed up, keeps track of pitches.
Strike to Ugla. Dan's bounced out twice to the left side. To third in the second. His bouncer to short in the fourth. Knocked home Upton with the first run of the game. And Ugla cranks one to left. Got under it though. Pierre is there. And he makes the catch. It's Justin Upton's world, and we're just living in it right now. The Braves slugger hits his 6th home run of the season.
Well, now we know why the Braves are 5-1. Marlins Park, high above the Goodyear blimp. Home opener for the Fish. Rich Waltz, along with Tommy Hutton, impressive display. Justin Upton's got 3 hits, a double, a home run. And he scored the other run as well. And Paul Maholm has kept the Marlins off balance all night long.
You know, and Upton had a bad game yesterday. He was 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, but he got back on track quickly. He's off to a tremendous start.
It is a absolutely perfect evening in Miami. The roof is open. This is the 9th time that the Marlins have had a roof open for a game. The Fish are 4-4 with the roof wide open. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Yeah, and they're hoping, the word is now, guys, they're hoping actually to potentially get the entire homestand with the roof open. Of course, pending rain, and you know that could be down here, but they're looking at the weather, the degrees, and the humidity, and it all looks pretty good, very favorable to have the roof open, which would be nice for the entire run. In fact, maybe even to the entire month. Then again, you get some rain showers here before the game. You get those 6 o'clock type showers, and they would close it, of course. But right now, it's favorable for getting at least much of, if not the entire homestand, with the roof open, and that's great this time of year.
Giancarlo Stanton takes a called 3rd strike, and Maholm is really cooking now.
Boy, 6 strikeouts for Paul Maholm, the veteran left-hander. He just paints this pitch. A little cutter, came back, had some good movement, and froze Giancarlo. Yeah, I love it with the roof open. Obviously, with the showers, as Craig mentioned, you never know when they're going to come in and out. But as we know, all of us that have lived in South Florida for a long time, April and May are probably the 2 best months for weather, and to have this roof open like this is beautiful.
Greg Dobbs has walked and struck out. Miami has just 1 hit against Maholm, and that was a Polanco single back in the 3rd. Maholm is at 81 pitches.
His only little blip on the radar was in the 1st inning. After he got a couple of outs, he walked Stanton and Dobbs back to back. One area of concern for Freddie Gonzalez and the Braves, they've got such a tremendous bullpen, but right now they're worried about Johnny Venters, the tough left-hander. He's had some elbow issues. He went to see the famed Dr. Andrews.
Roller towards first, little flip. Maholm is there. Nice play by Chris Johnson.
8 ground ball outs for Maholm to go along with his 6 strikeouts.
So we told you he's the guy that when he pitched in Pittsburgh always had a nice ERA but a lousy record, and now he's got an opportunity with a first division team, to be sure, in the Atlanta Braves. Evan Gattis out for a talk with Maholm. Ruggiano is 0 for 2.
He's always been a little bit tougher on lefties than righties. Lefties in his career hitting just .224 coming into this game against Maholm.
Yeah, Venters was part of a lockdown Braves bullpen last year. That, of course, the headliner is Craig Kimbrell. Kimbrell, the 2-time All-Star. Out toward short, Simmons. Paul Maholm is chewing up the Fish right now. 2-0 Atlanta.
has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Frustrating night for the Fish so far. Hello. Camera 12 is up and operating.
Take that, Braves bullpen.
Juan Francisco, Chris Johnson, Andrelton Simmons. This game is already in the 7th inning. It's 2-0 Atlanta. Kevin Slowey has been unable to get Justin Upton out, and that's been his biggest issue. Upton has 3 of the 5 hits. He's scored both runs. He's hit his 6th homer. Francisco singled back in the 2nd. Slowey at 87 pitches.
Had the longest outing of the year for any Marlins starter. Ricky Nolasco and Alex Sanabia each went 6 innings. So Kevin Slowey works here in the 7th.
Ball in the dirt. Tommy, 1995, Chipper arrived. And it certainly is a different world now.
What was going on in 1995?
Juan Francisco was a long ways from the big leagues. That's for sure. He's just 25. And he steps out. That would be strike 3 call. Kevin Slowey with a strikeout. So turn the clock back to 95. Chipper Jones was the Rookie of the Year runner-up. The Braves. The Dow Jones was at an all-time high at the point, 5,000.
I think regardless of all that stuff, everybody was focused on the OJ trial.
Well, the DVD was invented.
Bryce Harper was 2.
Breaking ball to Chris Johnson.
I hope Chipper shows up to the ballpark. You know, when we're in Atlanta. It's always good to see him.
I'd like to have him on.
Yeah, because he has time now.
Chris Johnson fouls off a pitch. He's 1 for 2. Johnson getting the start at first base with Freddie Freeman on the disabled list. Up the middle, into center field, and a base hit for Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson's going to keep himself in the lineup. If he keeps getting a couple of knocks every night, he'll keep himself over at first base.
How good are the Mets? Well, they've scored 7 runs off of Roy Halladay and knocked him out of the game after 4 innings.
How about the way they scored their first 3?
Oh, a 3-run homer by John Buck. John Buck has 3 home runs.
John Buck has 12 RBIs now on the year.
And right now, the Mets, who are 4-2, lead the Phillies 7-1. The Phillies are just 2-4.
And the struggles for Halladay continue, and they've also had a couple of poor outings from Cole Hamels.
High pop. And that's headed out of play.
Cole Hamels in his first 2 starts has given up 16 hits and 13 runs in a little over 10 innings.
The Reds exploded for 9 runs in the 9th inning and beat the Cardinals in St. Louis 13-4.
That was the Cardinals' home opener.
Jaime Garcia struck out 10 over 6 2/3 innings.
They'll be drowning their sorrows over at Shannon's restaurant after that one.
Now that place gets loud.
Yeah,
after the game.
Because we walk by it usually to go back to our hotel.
3 more RBIs and 2 more hits for Shin-Soo Choo for the Indians. Backhanded there, Polanco. Turned by Solano. Safe at first. Simmons runs well, and he beats it out.
It's a good effort. It was not really a pure double play type ball, and it took Polanco a little off balance as he had to go to his backhand. Right there, a little stumble with his footwork. Quick turn by Solano, but as you pointed out, that was close at first base. That's bang bang, but Simmons does have good speed.
Here's Mulholland, who's talking to Polanco before the ball game about his health and how much better he feels now as opposed to 2 years ago when he had the double hernia surgery. And evidence of that was a head-first slide on the road trip into home plate, something he said he never would have considered the last 2 seasons. Pierre has it. Kevin Slowey with 7 solid innings, but the Braves lead it 2-0. The Marlins home opener. There's the first pitch. Conine to Lowell to Brantley.
97 to 03 to 2013. Kevin Slowey then took over. Kevin Slowey has been right on the money. He's thrown the ball extremely well. Longest outing for any Marlins starter this year. But so has Paul Mulholland. He's been on the money all night. In the 4th inning, the Braves got on the board to get a runner at third base. And on the ground ball out, the run comes in to score. It's been the Justin Upton story tonight. He has 3 hits, a single, a double, and for Upton, home run number 6 on the season, an absolute shot over the 401 side. But Kevin Slowey has been just tremendous tonight. Unfortunately, the Marlins offense cannot do anything against Paul Mulholland.
Both managers are running into that gray area this early in the season in terms of pitch count. Slowey at 93. Mulholland is at 86. Neither has had really a what you would call a stressful inning. Mulholland over the last 3 innings has been ultra smooth. The only blip was hitting Juan Pierre. Jordan Walden in Atlanta's bullpen. Brantley fouls it off his foot. Brantley, Echeverria, then Solano, and then you've got the pitcher spot, Chad Qualls.
I keep having to force myself to look out to right center, the Marlins bullpen. For some reason, I want to just zone into the Clevelander in left center.
With good reason, Tommy. Come on. Breaking ball misses down low.
Key for Mulholland tonight, he's been able to drop that breaking ball in pretty much at will whenever he wants. Uses the fastball just enough. Just like that. He kind of lulls you to sleep and then just spots a fastball and freezes you.
And then 88 looks like 95.
Tough night for Rob Brantley. He's been up 3 times, and that's the 3rd time he's struck out.
Exmo look. Gaddis doesn't look that bad behind the plate either. Looks like he can handle a pitcher.
Oh, I think even when Brian McCann gets back, Gaddis will have a spot on the roster. They'll catch him. They'll be able to give McCann some time off, and they still have Gerald Laird, veteran catcher.
Gerald Laird has been to the last 2 World Series as a backup catcher. Tigers last year and got a ring with the Cardinals in 2011. Echevarria into the seats. Seven strikeouts for Mulholland in 6 1/3 innings.
His career high is 10.
Runs it in, and the count is 3-1. Austin Kearns with a helmet on. Ground ball. Francisco moving to his left. And there are 2 outs. Marlins bench thin in terms of pinch hitting options, with Greg Dobbs in the lineup. Kyle Skipworth, of course, called up, but Skipworth is a career 211 hitter or 219 hitter in the minor leagues.
Plus, he's a left-hander. That's one of the reasons he was brought here, though. It frees up Mike Redmond to pinch hit Miguel Olivo, a right-hander, if he chooses.
Slow breaking ball to Solano, misses inside. Of course, you get into the back end of Atlanta's bullpen right now without Venters, and those right-handed hitters become very, very important.
Yeah, how many times did the Marlins match up against the Braves, and late in the game you'd see O'Flaherty, Venters, or Venters, O'Flaherty, and then Kimbrough.
To right, Hayward. And just like that, Paul Mulholland keeps mowing down fish. Mulholland and the Braves in Miami tonight. 2 runs better. Mulholland have been matched up. Let's update the Twitter poll. Are you sad that Marlin killer Chipper Jones has retired? I am. I went hashtag Chipper yes.
I think we both went that way, yeah.
That's AT&T Uverse Twitter poll. We mentioned John Buck homering against Roy Halladay. His third homer for the Mets. Go back to 2011, another opening day memory. Off of Mike Pelfrey. A grand slam.
To right center, very similar to the home run he hit tonight against Roy Halladay in Philadelphia.
That was for the Edwin Rodriguez-led Marlins. Rodriguez did a nice job with the Puerto Rican team in the World Baseball Classic.
Jack Walls making his 4th appearance. He's had a couple that have been okay, and then he had a rough outing. And as we tell you often, he's on the money with sinkers and sliders when he keeps the ball down.
Well, he's got B.J. Upton first, Jason Hayward second, and then Justin Upton, who's a triple shy of the cycle in a ballpark that yields a lot of triples. B.J. with a swing and a miss.
And a guy who has 28 career triples.
29 doubles, 28 homers, 31 stolen bases. Terrific defense in center. That's what B.J. gave the Rays in his last year in the Rays organization. 10 years in that organization, parts of 8 years in the big leagues. Of course, their father, an athlete himself at Norfolk State, Manny, or his nickname Boss Man, and that's where B.J. comes from. Boss Man Jr. with B.J. Upton, Justin the younger brother. Their father is an NCAA basketball referee. B.J. goes down. Marlins and the Braves on Wednesday at 7:10. Remember, kids 12 and under eat free on Wednesday nights this season at Marlins Park. All kids get a voucher for a complimentary Cayenne Beef Frank, a bag of Frito-Lay chips, and a small Pepsi or Aquafina water. Go to Marlins.com. Get your tickets today. Hayward goes after the first pitch, pops it down the left field line. Out goes Echeverria, and he slides and makes the catch. Terrific play by Danny Echeverria, showing a lot of range.
Boy, a lot of range, a lot of concentration, because you can't tell when you're chasing that ball down, you might overrun it a little bit. He does, but he reaches back as he goes into his slide right in front of Juan Pierre. And that for Jason Hayward now is an 0 for 17, but just a super catch by Danny Echeverria.
Justin Upton singled in the first, doubled in the fourth, homered in the sixth.
You know, the other day when both Uptons homered, as you look at the Cholula hot sauce profile, the last time two brothers homered in the same inning was '96, the Ripkins.
Roller up the middle into center field. That's a base hit. Yeah, 4 brother combinations have homered in the same inning of a ball game. Big Poison, Little Poison. The Wainers did it twice, Lloyd and Paul, back in the day. Henry and Tommy Aaron did it. Cal and Billy Ripken did it twice. And of course, the other night against Marmol, BJ and Justin. And really, I mean, the Braves signed BJ. They traded for Justin. Can Kate be far behind? Maybe first pitch ceremony?
I would say first pitch, yeah, ceremony. Not sure if she can sing.
Doesn't matter.
Thinking
Tommy.
maybe anthem.
It doesn't matter. She doesn't have to sing.
I think we can check with Justin Verlander. I believe they were an item at one time.
Evan Gaddis, 0 for 3, a pair of strikeouts. Roller foul up the line. Royals won again today. They beat the Twins 3-1. Kansas City and Minnesota are both off to pretty good starts. They're both 4 and 3. Marlins will see Minnesota on their next road trip.
Marlins will also go to Kansas City.
And that's exciting because we get to see the new and improved Royal Stadium, Kauffman Stadium, if you will, which has always been a terrific place to watch a game. It's kind of the American League version of Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, and all we have to do when we enter the ballpark there is just let them know that we work and know Cookie Rojas real well. And it's carte blanche after that.
Cookie Rojas enshrined in the Royals Hall of Fame. Gaddis waits. Justin Upton from first, and he's running. Swinging a ground ball, base hit, left field. Upton on his way to third. Pierre picks it up and fires it into second. That was a key play, remember, against the Mets in the 9th inning yesterday. On the hit by Kirk Neuenhuis, when Ruben Tejada went to third, Pierre threw to third, and he threw wild. He didn't get the runner at third, and it allowed Neuenhuis to get to second. They both scored on that Marlon Byrd walk-off hit.
Notice it took a while. Upton was in a straight steal. It took him a while to pick up the ball, see where it was. He did, easily got to third. And with 2 out, the Braves are in business.
And it's Uglows driven in a run tonight. Qualls. It's been a struggle for Qualls out of the gates. This is his 4th appearance. He's gone 2 1/3 innings. 4 hits, 4 runs, 2 homers. And opponents are hitting well over 400 against him.
Can't say enough about the job that Kevin Slowey did tonight. Giving up just the 2 runs, 7 innings. Didn't walk a batter.
Yes, Slowey, 2 starts now and just 3 runs allowed. Two and 1 to Dan Uggla. Uggla, a couple homers and 3 RBIs. 4 for 22 on this young season. Game number 7. Pleased to have Mark Butler back as our Vice President of Audio. One of the very best in the business. So good that sometimes he'll pick up a word or two that we apologize for. We do not apologize for Mark Butler, though. 2-2. Got him looking. Uggla didn't like the call. C.B. Buckner is emphatic about it. And Qualls leaves a pair out there. When we return, Allison Williams with tonight's starter, Kevin Slowey. 2 runs here. He gave up just 1 run in his first start, and he's down below with Allison Williams.
Thank you very much, Kevin. First of all, I'm curious, what is it like? How is it different to start on a home opener?
It's fantastic. The fans here were great. You know, I mean, there were a lot of people here early, and when I went out to throw, there was a lot of encouragement. And it's something I think every player looks forward to. They look forward to their home opener, and you know, this is home for us, and we're looking forward to being here all year.
Heck of a performance for you. You give the Marlins their longest outing of the year for a starter. How were you able to keep that pitch count low and go deep into this one?
I think for us, we had a good game plan going in. You know, Chuck and Rob, you know, as a pitching coach and a catcher, we kind of had a pretty good idea going in what we wanted to do. And then, you know, at the end of the day, it's about executing pitches. And you saw the guys behind me make some great plays. You had some great plays in the infield and the outfield. You know, I mean, so for me, it's just throwing the ball over and making sure my defense gets involved, and they did.
Kevin, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Allison. Nice to have the Marlins starting pitcher join us after his start. Braves starting pitcher Paul Maholm is done. Austin Kearns is at the plate, and he's facing Eric O'Flaherty.
This guy's been an unsung hero. Not the Braves fans. Braves fans certainly know, but O'Flaherty's highest ERA in the last 3 years has been 2.45.
Slow tapper, Francisco across the diamond, and Kearns is out. And that'll bring Pierre up. It'll also bring the little red car around. That's the cue for Chevron starting pitchers. Tomorrow's starters will not be Paul Maholm or Kevin Slowey, because both managers would then be fired for misuse of a starting pitcher. But I suspect tomorrow you might perchance see Chris Medlin and Wade LeBlanc. Pierre now. Up the middle, Ugla, and it's right under his glove. Pierre is aboard. And in a 2-0 game, that means Polanco comes up, and if he stays out of a double play, at the very least you give Stanton an at-bat with a runner on.
I think Ugla got caught in between. Do I backhand this ball and plant that foot, or do I try to get in front of it? He gets in front of it, and it kind of climbs up his glove, heel of the glove. Probably be an error, and it is.
Polanco is 1 for 3.
But the Marlins just happy to have a base runner. Their last base runner was Juan Pierre. He was hit by a pitch, and their only base hit, a Polanco single in the 3rd inning.
Fastball up, and it's 1-0. That looks like 2. Ugla's turn is on the money, and Polanco rolls into a double play. Stanton doesn't come to the plate, and the Braves hang on to a 2-0 lead. high above Marlins Park. Let's take a look at the Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. Chipper Jones era. The Dodgers used 60 different third basemen over Chipper Jones' 19-year career.
And no one of them was not Joey Amalfitano.
The Braves actually used 30 other guys not named Chipper. And the Marlins used 35 different third basemen. You saw one of those tonight involved in the first pitch, Mike Lowell. That's John Maine, the 31-year-old out of Fredericksburg, Virginia, University of North Carolina at Charlotte.
Making his Marlins debut. John Maine trying to come back from various injuries after a terrific 07 season with the Mets when he won 15 games. Generally used as a starter in the major leagues, 108 games, 105 of those as a starter.
AAA with the Yankees last year. He made 15 starts. He was 8-5 with an ERA 4.97. Marlins weren't sure, and Maine wasn't either, if he would make the ball club late in spring training.
He was actually on his way home when he found out, he got the call that he was to join the ball club because of the injuries to Nate Eovaldi and to Henderson Alvarez. We saw both Henderson Alvarez and Nate Eovaldi at the ballpark today. Nate's just starting a throwing program. I think Henderson is a little bit ahead of him.
Right back up the box into center field. Ruggiano picks it up. Juan Francisco has a couple of hits. The Braves now have 9 hits. 4 of them have been Justin Upton's. If you've just joined us, Upton has really hurt Miami tonight. A pair of singles, doubled and scored in the 4th, and hit a long solo homer in the 6th. His 6th home run already this year. Braves with a pinch runner out there, Ramiro Pena. So Pena, a good glove on the infield and a little faster than Francisco. His pitch running. Here's Johnson. Outside corner, a strike.
I think it's spring training for John Maine. In talking to a lot of scouts, and certainly scouts are abundant at spring training games, they liked what they saw. They liked the way he was throwing after the injuries that he's had. And I believe had the Marlins not gotten him back here, I think some other major league club would have picked him up.
One and 2 to the Braves first baseman Chris Johnson.
Hey, you talked about Justin Upton's 4 hits, Johnson with 2, Francisco with a couple.
Missed down low on the 1-2.
As expected, Rich, Craig Kimbrell in that Braves bullpen loosening up.
That's to be expected and to be feared. Because he's about as good as they come. That's into left field, a base hit. So Francisco a hit, now Johnson a hit. Pena stops at second. Andrelton Simmons comes to the plate. 7 innings by Kevin Slowey. Gave up just 2 runs on 6 hits. Chad Qualls gave up a couple hits but did not give up a run in the 8th. Maine's given up a couple hits to open the 9th. Simmons is 0 for 3.
In the on-deck circle is Reed Johnson. So you look to see what Freddie Gonzalez has up his sleeve with Simmons up there. One thing tough for a pitcher like Maine, been over a week since he's worked. I know he's had his opportunities to throw a little bit in the bullpen, but to try to keep that sharpness with his mainly fastball and slider.
Ball and a strike. Dobbs creeps in at first. Polanco at third. Simmons squares. Pops it up. Dobbs dives and can't get it. And he deflects it. It's a foul ball.
Yeah, fortunately, he touched it in foul territory. If he deflects it the way he did and was in fair territory, that's a whole lot of trouble.
Well, the ball has to be in fair territory. Dobbs was
just barely, and the ball was in foul territory.
Dobbs was kind of straddling the line. You get a face full of chalk and no baseball.
I would be surprised if Simmons is bunting again with the count 1-2.
Brantley blocks it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's a Marlin ball club that went on the road to open in Washington and New York and scored just 14 runs on the trip. Only 1 run in Washington. Here tonight, the Fish have just 1 hit. Maine now goes to 3-2. Marlins are staring at facing one of baseball's best in the 9th in Craig Kimbrell. Of course, the Braves would love to crack it open and not have to use Kimbrell here. Ruggiano makes the catch. Both runners tag. Stopping halfway is Johnson and throw to first. Safe. Ball in the dirt. Dobbs had to dig it, and that gave Johnson the extra second to get under the tag.
Yeah, it's amazing. So many little things. This is a great throw by Ruggiano. And if somehow Solano, who didn't get his balance, he uncorked that throw before he really got set. If he makes a good throw, that's a double play. And it's a big 2 outs right there. And for the Braves to have Johnson sneak back in there, all of a sudden 1 out and runners at the corners.
But you saw what Dobbs was doing. He was extra cautious using 2 hands because there was a runner at third base.
He didn't want the ball to get by him.
And now here is Reed Johnson, who's been in the big leagues a long time. Johnson, 36. Long-time Blue Jay, long-time Cub. One-time Titan, Cal State Fullerton.
Got 50 career pinch hits, so he's done a good job in that role. He's filled a lot of roles.
He was one of the best pinch hitters in the majors last year. Bunt, safety squeeze. This is that first and third bunt that many managers like. Joe Madden across the state has perfected that play.
Yeah, Freddie right now has a good combo up there. He's got decent base runners, guy at the plate who's experienced, knows what to do with the bat, so he's got a lot of options.
One and two.
Reed Johnson with just 3 ABs this year, 0 for 3, so hasn't had a whole lot of action.
Last year, he led the major leagues with 18 pinch hits and hit .419 as a pinch hitter. So, to further your point about a terrific trade that wasn't a headline trade, it wasn't one of those that stopped the presses. The Braves have acquired Paul Maholm and Reed Johnson. They both contributed for Freddie Gonzalez in September and August. Brantley couldn't hold it. In fact, it banged off his throwing hand. Actually caught him.
Got a piece of that little shoulder guard
in the bicep area.
Boy, Rob Brantley so up all the time. He's ready to play. We saw him around the batting cage. He wanted to start the game at 5:30. He said, "Let's go."
Johnson back at first base. It's Chris Johnson at first and Reed Johnson at the plate. B.J. Upton is on deck for Atlanta. And a fastball. He got him. This time Brantley was able to squeeze it. 2 outs. MLB.TV is celebrating 11 years. You can join millions of fans and subscribe today. Watch every out-of-market game live online on your favorite mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV. Baseball everywhere. B.J. Upton, who is 0 for 4.
Braves have had other brother combos. J.D. Drew and his brother Tim, a pitcher.
We talked about the Aarons. They were one of the brothers that homered the same inning.
Rick Mailer, his brother Mickey. Mickey, a left-hander. Phil and Joe Negro, briefly.
At the corners. A ball and a strike. John Maine in the 9th.
Good fastball, 91, little movement from Maine. And he's got a chance with the count 1-2 to get out of this jam when the Braves had runners at first and second and nobody out.
I told you. And it's been Justin Upton who's done the damage. B.J. lines one up the middle on a hot Echeverria on to first in time. And Maine pitches around those 2 singles that opened the inning. Craig Kimbrell coming in, and Miami needs a couple. hit for Miami. The Braves, 2 runs on 10 hits. ATTU versus Rewind. Jeff Conine finishing off the Giants in the division series with some help from Pudge. And here tonight he gets some help from Mike Lowell on a relay to Rob Brantley. That's a ceremonial first pitch on opening night for Miami. As expected, Ramiro Pena stays in the game, and he's at third. And Craig Kimbrell is into the ball game. Kimbrell coming off 2 dynamite seasons for the Braves. Historic seasons in terms of strikeout ratio, batting average against. And he comes right into it against Giancarlo Stanton, who takes a fastball for a strike.
And that's what he does, is throw strikes with quality stuff. 116 strikeouts last year and only 14 walks. Struck out more than half the batters he faced.
97 miles an hour.
When you look at him, you think of a right-handed Billy Wagner, perhaps, but he can throw, as you just saw, upper 90s and then a nasty slider.
Billy Wagner was never this dominant. I mean, opponents hit 126 against him last year. That's the lowest against any pitcher since 1900. 42 of 45 in saves last year. One, two. And that's outside. Second save on Friday night against the Cubs. Of course, Rookie of the Year in 2011. I know it was a great year for starters last year, but with that type of year, 14 walks and 116 strikeouts and a 1.01 ERA, he was 5th in the Cy Young voting.
That could have been a little bit higher.
It's gone 3-2 to Stanton. That's outside, and Giancarlo draws a walk. As we told you, Kimbrell walked just 14 hitters all of last year.
He probably wasn't ready because he didn't have the spring training that he needed. He had a few little stumbles in the World Baseball Classic for Team USA.
It's his first walk this year. This is just his 3rd appearance. He's pitched 2 clean innings so far, so he's not giving up a run. Here now is Dobbs with Ruggiano on deck. Base runners have been scarce for Miami. Dobbs swings and misses. Kimbrell has that great pre-pitch routine where he straddles the mound and then crouches in.
What do you call it? You have a term for that, don't you?
He looks like the Silver Surfer, one of the superheroes. He's out in front, 0-2 now.
Been a tough matchup for Greg Dobbs in his career. 0 for 6 against Kimbrell with 5 strikeouts.
Tried to come in the back door and missed low. Stanton's at first. Nobody out. Dobbs got a piece and stays alive at 1-2. So the Marlins have seen O'Flaherty. Venters is on the disabled list. And here is Kimbrell. And that was after 7 brilliant innings by Paul Maholm. 7 innings, a hit, no runs. Fastball, and Dobbs was ready for it. After the ball game, Marlins Live, presented by Checkers. From the set out in center field. Kimbrel ready. Dobbs a ground ball. Ugla sliding stop out there. Simmons quick turn. Safe there. Johnson is not an experienced first baseman, and that would have been a really difficult matrix-like play to catch it and tag.
That would have been a remarkable double play. Terrific pick by Ugla. He pops up, gives it to Simmons, who just made a poor throw. But you're right, that's not an Adam LaRoche over there. But I don't think any first baseman could have helped that be a double play.
It almost looked like Johnson felt that Dobbs was down the line faster than that. That's Chris Valaika pinch running for Dobbs.
Almost like Johnson didn't think they had a chance for a double play.
Right, he didn't attempt to swipe and tag him. So Valaika's running. Ruggiano's at the plate. Kimbrel ready with a 1-0 pitch. Fastball a strike. Right on the black. After Ruggiano is Brantley. Kimbrel tries to go back out there and misses.
That's the one thing about Kimbrel. You think that he's just a guy who throws hard and doesn't have a whole lot of an idea where it's going, but he picks apart the corners. He doesn't just rear back and throw it down the middle.
2-1. Ruggiano fouls it back to the screen. The Braves come in at 5-1, and tonight we get a good look at why they're 5-1. Freddie Gonzalez has had Justin Upton just go off the first week of the season. 4 more hits, another home run for Justin Upton. He's got 6 on the season. Great starting pitching. You got Kimbrel, who has locked down 2 saves already. Though he doesn't look as sharp as he usually does. He's 3-2 now on Ruggiano.
All right, I'll pose a question to you. You asked me about the Nationals outfield. Who has the better bullpen, the Braves or the Nationals? Let's say back end of the bullpen, final 3 guys.
3-2, Ruggiano left field, pretty well hit. Upton goes back, reaches, and makes the catch right at the track. Justin Upton at the warning track. Ruggiano tagged it, but Kimbrel now has 2 outs.
Little change for Justin Upton. Remember, with Arizona, primarily played in right field. He kind of comes in on that ball, but then adjusts and makes the grab over his shoulder. The ball was hit well by Ruggiano.
Well, he had a pool behind him in right in Arizona. He's got a pool behind him here in Miami, and it's down to Brantley on a night where Miami has just 1 hit. Maholm, O'Flaherty, and now Kimbrel. And Brantley, the young catcher, has struck out 3 times.
If the Marlins fail to score, it'll be the 3rd time already this year they've been shut out.
Brantley takes away, and it's 2-0. Brantley is not homered. He has 3 doubles this year. Valaika's at first. Kimbrel looking to end it for Atlanta.
Brantley did hit 3 home runs in his brief time with the Marlins last year, so he does have that kind of pop. You kind of picture him as you see him progress as a hitter. You picture him as a good line drive guy with maybe 10 to 15 home run power.
He's sprayed line drives all over the ballpark, both in Washington and in New York on the road trip. And that's exactly what Miami saw from him at the end of last year when he came up. 2-1 pitch. That's a strike. And so Kimbrel now is just a strike away from save number 3. And the Braves a strike away from 6-1 out of the gates. Here comes the 2-2. It's up and it's out. That will allow a head start by Valleca at first. Echeverria's on deck.
We have seen Kimbrel much sharper than he is tonight.
Well, he walked someone, which is breaking news after walking just 14 last year. Runner goes 3-2. Brantley up the middle into center field, base hit. Valleca on his way to third. B.J. Upton has it, and Miami is still alive. Just their second hit. And it's their rookie shortstop, Adeiny Echeverria, who comes up now.
The good news, I mean, there isn't a whole lot of good news when you're facing Craig Kimbrel, but the good news is if you can get yourself in that fastball count, you just gear it up a little quicker. So 3-2, Brantley knew he was going to get the fastball. He did. Good shot up the middle to chase Valleca over to third.
You asked me better bullpen right now, I would have to go with Washington because it's deeper without Venters. You're able to go with Clippard. You're able to go with Storin and, of course, Soriano.
I tell you, with Venters, it's a good argument.
It's a great argument.
Yeah.
It'd be a great tag team match between the three. Echeverria has bounced out 3 times. So he climbs in against Kimbrel. The tying run is at first base, and that is Brantley. And Echeverria nearly comes unglued, going after a first pitch fastball.
He tried to hit the home run. He's not really a home run guy.
Pounds him in, and Kimbrel now is out in front 0-2.
Yeah, now he's in trouble because Kimbrel getting ahead has the opportunity to go back fastball, or he can snap off that nasty slider.
Well, whatever Roger McDowell said, it seemed to have gotten Kimbrel's attention.
26 pitches for Kimbrel.
Nice state fastball. 1-2. 9th inning in Miami. Home opener for the Marlins. Dominated by Paul Maholm for 7 innings. Kimbrel trying to close it in the 9th. He's a strike away. And he does it. 96 miles an hour. Echeverria strikes out. And the Atlanta Braves have raced to a 6-1 start. 3rd save for Kimbrel. Paul Maholm the win. And another big night from Justin Upton, who goes 4 for 4 with a double and his 6th home run in Game 7 of the season. An amazing start for the Braves. 2-0 the final.